fabulous today. How are you?
Well, I'm all right. Not quite as good as fabulous. I want to hear what fabulous is all about.
I'm excited. I got a new job starting pretty soon, and I got all this yummy food here in front of me that we're gonna cook. I'm
So
excited.
food does make a fabulous day. Yeah, so this one we actually have had on the books for quite some time, and we're just getting around to doing it, but it's a great time to do it. Lots of colors, lots of basically we've got a garden. We're just cooking up the garden tonight.
Yes.
And
Yes.
pairing it with a fish, correct? We've decided on pairing it with some type of fish. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, I can't wait. So we're gonna do the theme tonight is some nice roasted vegetables and fish cooked however you want to cook your fish and whatever fish you want to cook. What are some of the vegetables that you have in your garden?
I've got some white sweet potatoes, carrots. I got some baby bok choy. I've got asparagus. I've got these cute little baby tomatoes. I've got some mushrooms as well.
Ooh,
what you got?
Okay, well, let me see if I can kind of, get this over here.
Uh-huh.
And so if you can see, so I've got eggplant.
Ooh.
I've got some lemon. I've got also some asparagus, onion, the mini sweet peppers, zucchini, a yellow squash, a regular sweet potato. I have some fresh rosemary from my rosemary bush outside, and some thyme, and some olive oil, and a little lemon to probably. I might incorporate it in the veggies, but most likely it'll just be for my fish portion.
That sounds interesting, because I have rosemary from my plants as well that I've got dried here.
Yay, okay.
And I'm also using a lemon pepper for my fish seasoning. Yeah.
My fish has been, I actually started, it's been in a marinade for about 4.5, close to 5 hours now. I'm doing it's kind of a soy sauce and ginger and honey and sriracha and sesame seeds. So kind of like an Asian themed kind of marinade for it. And then, and then I've got some of the extra sauce. I'm going to kind of put, so if the roasted vegetables kind of get a little drizzle of that, they'll be pretty delicious.
Wow. Okay. I'm excited. It's going to be delicious. Lots of healthy yumminess. No cheese, no bacon. You know where that was directed.
No cheese and no bacon. Is there something Sissy's cooking with no cheese and no bacon? I find that hard to believe.
The hell you say? Back to Dishin with Sissy. We've been gone for a couple weeks, so I'm super excited to get back at it. We're doing roasted vegetables and fish. My fish is cod. I have it in the refrigerator. I got it wrapped in a towel so that it gets dry, so that it's not too wet. I don't like that extra moisture in there when it cooks. I'm going to roast them separately. I'm going to put the vegetables in one pan and the fish in another. Like I said, I've got white sweet potato, carrots, baby bok choy. I've got asparagus and these little potatoes, mushrooms. I'm going to use honey and lemon pepper, rosemary, a little dill. Just going to herb it all up.
Here we go. Howdy. It's Sheri, Dishin with Sissy. We've got some wonderful, beautiful, colorful roasted vegetables to go with some salmon. That's the fish I'm doing tonight. I've got a nice center cut salmon in there. It's been marinating in a soy, ginger, sriracha, honey mixture. and I can't wait to get at all this. Right now I just need to focus on my vegetables. All of these have been washed. I just tossed my hair, so I need to wash my hands. And then I'm going to cut up some of these beautiful vegetables into nice large chunks and get them in the oven on 450. It's already preheated, and just get those roasting. And then we'll start on the fish. This one's going to be a quick one. Be right back.
I have the carrots and the sweet potatoes already cut up in about the similar sized chunks. The baby bok choy, I'm just going to cut the tops off, and I'm going to cut them in half. Just go right down the middle with the root, and so you'll have them like this. I'm going to do the other one. I've got two. I'll do this one. Just cut the top green part off a little bit, and then find a little spot where you can just give them a cut in half. These are so delicious. I don't know if you've ever had baby bok choy, but it is really good.
I have a huge baking pan. I want to make sure that all these vegetables are able to go in a nice single layer. So I've got my very large sheet pan that I'm going to put everything on top of. I'm going to start, as I mentioned, with the sweet potato and the eggplant, because they're going to take a little bit longer to roast, and I don't want the other vegetables to get mushy.
I got the baby bok choys rinsed off. I'm going to just set them over here. I've got the carrots and the white sweet potatoes cut, and I let them kind of get as dry as possible. I don't want a lot of moisture in there aside from the olive oil and a little bit of butter and some honey that I'm going to put on them. So just kind of spread those out. I've got these little red and white potatoes that I got at the store. So this is going to be enough. I love having leftover vegetables because I'm not going to cook the fish with them, so that I can use these later in the week when I have something else, some beef or chicken, and I can still have these roasted vegetables with it. Got some lemon pepper here. I'm just going to liberally sprinkle this around on these the potatoes and the sweet potatoes. I've got some olive oil. I'm just going to give a good drizzle. Normally, I would just put these all in a big bowl and mix it all up. But since I've got so many different kinds, I'm just going to layer the flavors here. All right. Got the olive oil on there. I've got some rosemary here from my plant out front. I've got it dried. And I'm just going to give it a pinch and sprinkle it all around on there. All right, I'm going to set the asparagus on here. Put some over here and some over here. I love asparagus. Steve doesn't care for it much, but I can eat it, and it's going to be delicious. Just a little more of the olive oil on there. And another sprinkling of the lemon pepper for the asparagus. Lemon pepper and vegetables goes really well together. I've got the baby bok choys. I'm going to set them here on top. Put them down in there. I'm going to put olive oil on each one of them.
Let's start with the eggplant. I'm going to kind of zebra skin this, or zebra peel this. And that's just basically peeling a little bit and maybe skipping a row, peeling and skipping a row, peeling and skipping a row. You want to do that because as you cut these in large chunks, the skin actually helps those chunks as they cook up and they get a little bit soft. The skin actually helps them stay firm and stay stable. It stabilizes them. So I don't want to take all the skin off. And I want to cook this in nice large chunks because again, as it cooks down. If you start with small chunks, you're going to get some mushy eggplant. Nobody wants to eat mushy eggplant. So you want about 1.5 inches to start. I'm just going to cut rounds at about 1.5 inches. I'm going to cut each one of these in half and then cut them so they make just large chunks. That's what we're looking at.
Now I've got the mushrooms. I'm just going to leave them. I took the stems out and I'm going to leave them whole. And I'm just going to put them around the pan here, random places. And I'm going to cover this for the first little bit of cooking. Then I'll take the cover off and let them get roasty browned. A little more rosemary around the whole thing. This is a fabulous looking dish of vegetables with that rosemary feel. I'm also going to drizzle honey. So look at this. This looks so good. All those vegetables on there. I've got some olive oil cooking spray. I did the drizzle, but I'm going to just give them especially with the mushroom, just give them a good coat of the olive oil on top so that they're not dry. Another good sprinkling of the lemon pepper all around. Okay. Ooh, gonna be delicious. Um, I'm gonna cover this with foil. I'm gonna put it in the oven at 400 for about 10-15 minutes, and I'm gonna take the foil off and let them cook, let them roast more. So we'll come back and we'll get the fish on a pan.
Sweet potato, we're going to do the same thing. We're not going to cut it as chunky, but again, we're going to cut them in bigger chunks. The perfect roasted sweet potato and eggplant is the skin on the outside is nice and crispy, and on the inside it's nice and soft. And the trick to that is using a lot of olive oil and just a little bit of salt and pepper to season it. I'm going to toss a little olive oil over these. Throw in some sea salt. Be generous. And I'm going to add just a little bit of, a little bit of this wonderful smelling rosemary. All right, we're just going to lay this here. I'm going to let these roast while I cut up the rest of the vegetables, and then I'll add the other vegetables to the hot pan and let them all kind of cook together.
Got 3 good sized pieces of cod here, and I'm just going to put them in this foil lined pan. I've had these wrapped in a towel in the refrigerator so that they would get the moisture off of it. I'm going to use some dill on the fish, a little bit of lemon pepper, and I bought these I was going to make a compound butter. However, I found these little pesto pucks at the store. It's pre-made little uh, compound butter pucks with pesto herbs in them. So what I'm going to do is use these on my fish instead of going to the trouble to make compound butter, which is really not that difficult, but it's just enough for what I need today. 2 little pucks with herbs and butter. I'm going to cut them probably in fourths or thirds and put them on the fish while it's cooking. I'm going to season the fish. I'm going to use again the olive oil cooking spray and just give them a little spritz. Put a little bit of lemon pepper, sprinkle on there, some dill. I'm just going to put some in my hand here and just sprinkle it around. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn them over and coat the other side with the lemon pepper, the olive oil, and the dill.
Also, in our beautiful, colorful medley of roasted vegetables, we're going to include some zucchini. And this I'm not going to peel at all. Again, I pre-washed all of these before I got started tonight. And just wash them, rinse them off really well. The asparagus. I love asparagus. The husband, not so much. So I only put on a little bit, probably what I'm going to eat. Although sometimes I like to try to slip it in there on his plate where he can't see it until he's actually already tasted it. And then he'll usually say something, but got to get him to try it, right? All right, and I have an onion. Actually, I have a half onion. And I'm just going to chop this. Toss that in. Okay, I'm going to put some olive oil. Again, be generous with your olive oil. You get a nice crispy outer coating on your vegetables. A little bit of salt. I'm going to add some black pepper. And I'm going to add some of this rosemary. Oh, and I have some thyme over here too. And I've lost count. I'm thinking maybe 4 good sprigs of thyme. This didn't come off very well. Everybody wants to bite into a stick. There we go. Okay, this is ready, so I'm going to let the eggplant and the sweet potato cook for about another 5 minutes. Then I'm going to add this and get started on the salmon.
I seasoned the other side of the fish. I'm using a little bit of salt, not too much because the lemon pepper seasoning has some salt in it. And then I'm just going to cut these little pucks. It's going to melt and be all delicious, herby, buttery. I'm not going to cover it. I'm just going to put it in the toaster oven. I've got it at 350. I'm thinking 20 minutes is going to be enough. I'll check it after 20 minutes and see.
My fish that I'm making is going to be salmon. It has actually been marinating for close to 5 hours in a soy, fresh ginger, fresh garlic, honey, sriracha sauce. It smells really, really good. My pan, I'm using cast iron, of course. It's very, very, very hot, which is what you need it to be. I'm just going to kick it up just a little bit more. And I want to make sure I get a good sear on the top of this salmon. So I'm going to put it in the pan, meat side down to start. Then I'm going to flip it over to the skin side, add some lemon on it, and let it continue to cook in the oven with the vegetables, and let it finish up there so it doesn't get too dry. The hardest part sometimes is just leave it alone. Just let it do its thing, leave it alone, and let it get that sear, probably about 3 minutes-ish, and then we'll flip it over.
The vegetables have been in the oven at 400 for 15 minutes. I just took them out. I'm going to take the foil off. Oh, they're steamy. They smell so good. They smell delicious. All right, my secret ingredient with this dish is I'm going to drizzle, if I can get the jar open. Here we go. I'm going to drizzle some honey all over these vegetables. I've got just a spoon, and I'm just going to drizzle it around. Big blob went right in the mushroom. Back in the oven at 400 and go for another 10 minutes or so, just so the vegetables can get browned. Miss this little spot over here. The veg can get a little more browned, and let that honey get all over everything. Nom, 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 nom.
Howdy. So apparently Sissy's having some internet difficulties. So we decided to change it up a little bit this time, and we're just gonna do separate reveals. So again, I did a salmon, which turned out very pretty. I cooked it with the marinade that it had been sitting in, and some rosemary and some lemon. Very flavorful. It's laying on a bed of fresh super greens with some feta cheese, Sissy's inspiration, and some green onion. And then I have all my beautiful, colorful roasted vegetables that are firm on the outside and tender on the inside, and I can't wait to get at this.
Due to some technological issues, Sissy and I are not able to do our final Zoom call together. So I'll show you my dish. And so I've got some cod here that I baked in the oven with the herb pucks, the pesto puck. And I've also got a lot of roasted vegetables here. Sweet potatoes, baby bok choy. I drizzled some honey over it, lemon pepper. We'll be eating these for a week.